say udisika emma obano, I mean whatever udisika ma nkwala no. Obano do wako a friend saying child support. Child support, they're going to now calculate, say 2023, and I say let's say 2022, and Amujaya. So they will calculate, say, from 2022 to 2025. We're now in March. This is how much in arrears or there. Because now unti and say, oh, a major many obani giant in Onkolani, the Omobame, me show me mom, me babandi, me first says can man. Obano hire me and also hire lawyer, a family lawyer near Pocota. Make us your honor. Since 2022, our Obama Obani giant. Obama on first he can say $600 or the amount ban. Into now I'm calculating say $600, 600 times what? Times 12. And at 3 years later. So or the car about 8, let's say just a hypothetical, or the car, let's say even $5,000. 5,000. So won't mean to access it can now register my fro and I make us family responsibility office. So when to me and access it can within 2 months, the moment that organizations are thrown on the almost at the canal. About time within on inform what the director and inform how long, but on the more time say within 2 months, within a month or two. When to me into your pet, where on the Becoz CRA, on the Becoz CRA man, yes, say where you or government or income tax a bit more, it will be frozen. It will be given. Everything will be frozen, and they will be given to a ban.
She has a plan, a secret mission filled by gratitude and affection. She chooses her mother's favorite breakfast, Delight Foods, House Sakoko, a harmonious blend of flavors crafted with care and devotion. The taste of tradition and comfort. In that moment, their connection deepens, a bond strengthened by a shared experience. Delight Foods, House Sakoko, a delicious breakfast made with care and love in just 2 minutes.
DHW 1642 Concord printable intercooler engineer Hembaku 16 daily also worldwide the internet me kwa ya kodin komo me ko Canada me kwa kodin komo ayo Canada me ne lawyer kwesi safo me ne na ba me show no so pen second time me ne bani this time they were share immigration then of course so what's new Canada information is very important they be America me them had there I'll give you the information. Tap sense in country mo say or UK or Europe or Canada or America or Australia and now UAE ubetimi amanisika abrewadofo ewo Ghana enti de tie ni ko Play Store ni App Store na download tap send o download tap send na o fill forms kitu be bisa o promo code channel so na type SVTV o manisika efi UK a ubenya bonus first transfer ubenya £5 bonus o Europe ubenya €5 bonus. Or US ubenya $10 a year bonus. Inti download the tap send. Or Play Store ni App Store na manisika ebre obushia for now for ni adofo ewo Ghana. Ejuma pasa minkancha mo say unya artisans, styler, painter, plumber, steel bender, electrician, carpenter, auto repairs ni adia. Ejuma pa se minkancha say ko omo website www.ejumapa.com and omo contact number and our screens no ubetimi from o abruche o pese o ye project bi wa senisika be fie sa manfo di usika o now for ebusuafo ejuma pasefa project ne form so on be yama na chese ukọ na ukọ request ya o mepe obi na wa ye ejuma na ma baby o project ne o Ghana bia no trust ejuma pa insa no ejuma o pese usua IT course number 1 Asylum technologies. Slum technologies show cyber security, any other IT programs. Slum technologies, omu obi wa Ghana, sanso no omu obi nso wa USA. Uhiya Slum technologies contacta. Numbers the good screens no. From CCA, na chese kosuya cyber security and other programs. Slum technologies, number 1. Delight Foods is number 1. Mo UK na old burgers ni ade nyamunim Delight Foods dada. Eba ni Delight House Sakoko, Delight Sobolo, Delight Burkina. Both fruits number 1. Uko UK ko Afro shop bia na kasa ohwehwe Delight Foods. Ubun say and no na obianom ewo UK. Aji bibia wo UK. Nti kona kope Delight Foods nebi na tasty kama pa. Ohia Airbnb wa Accra. Parry Group of Companies, I mean, can you say, 3-bedroom fully furnished Airbnb, Dansoman Estate. Sasu no more 1 and 2 bedroom apartment, English amount from near Westers Mall. For Parry Group of Companies, numbers na screens no, uhia baby a, obako da, anansa obako jojo hwa, for Parry Group of Companies. Lawyer, Akwaba, Boko there.
Oh, Boko DJ, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you once again for inviting me to your platform. And I just want to say, I mean, the last time that I was here, recently, I mean, the topic that was discussed, and I mean, Mensusu say it will garner so much attention, right? Nipa Bebre from all over Canada, the US, UK. I just said they wanted to also share their own experience. This conversation, I mean, what was discussed last time, I was surprised because it goes to show, say, DJ, no amount for airport in Sohe, people are going through a lot of difficulties. And I think it's an important conversation to have as a community in hopes that we can actually find ways to address these challenges. So I want to honestly thank you and your viewers, your YouTube subscribers, because it demonstrates that there's a lot of work that needs to be done for Yen, in the diaspora and even those in Ghana to learn about the things that are going on here and how it's almost transitional if they hope to also come abroad, about Canada, US, or anywhere in Europe. They know what they can face and how to go about addressing them appropriately. So thank you once again.
Okay. And me had you say they be a mechanical show no say means you be a quine. So reach out to me. My numbers they be our YouTube page and so. So open say oba show no so be a me no beba ending community. Omo no person omo ba nyina no. I mean stop you be a open say oba share your experience. I sua dey wa obetimi contact me na ejin komo. Enti lawyer me da say oba na waba second time so yes Canada and send them ekoso then I mean beside about immigration matters. What's new?
Okay. Yo DJ, I mean, as you know, when it comes to North America, the US is the elephant in the room, right? When it shakes, everybody feels it. And as you know, Trump, I mean, the US, whatever happens in the US, and Canada force, the political elites within the political realm, they also take note. So immigration has become a very pivotal and important conversation. Canada, for instance, the population, it's about 42, around between 40 and 42 million, right? I know Ghana around 34, 35 million or so. But for a country, of just, compared to US, it's over, anywhere for almost 350 million to 400 million if you decide to add the undocumented immigrants and so forth, right? Canada is relatively very small. And historically, immigration has been profound, has been very important in terms of addressing labor shortages and so many different things. Initially, it was, I mean, Canada, and as a lawyer, and I have to also be careful what I say, but initially, it was a racist immigration policy in the terms of they didn't desire non-Anglo immigrants, so they preferred initially, immigrants from Europe. After the Second World War, they thought, we want even before even the Second World War, they mostly from Europe, especially England, and they wanted them to come and settle. But when said there's shortages and Europeans were also dealing with their own, yes, okay, we're going to expand it to allow Italians and others to come from Europe. But even that was not enough. I'm just giving you a little bit of a historical background to Canada's immigration policy. So what they did was, I mean, after the World War in the 60s and coming to the 60s and so forth, 70s, and I'm decided to say, you know what, we need more immigrants from third world countries, but more specifically, Caribbean countries, to assist with in the healthcare sector, right? So which is quite parallel to now in terms of seeking healthcare workers to come as nannies and nurses, come and work PSWs and stuff. So they were assisting predominantly middle class to upper class households, white households, airborne, and yeah. So that was where the immigration expanded. Your friends saying they welcomed many immigrants from Jamaica, Trinidad, all over the Caribbean countries, and eventually it got expanded to much of the world, especially in Africa, South Asia, and so forth. Okay, so let's now move to the contemporary context. And for instance, many immigrants at that time in the 70s, 80s, jobs were abundant. You don't even need much employment, much education, right? Or high school diploma, for instance, Toronto say, Toronto, in terms of the regional Toronto cities, so Scarborough, your friends in North York, and your friends in Etobicoke, which is the outer suburbs that's what the outer suburbs are. And I want to say, immigrants can come, immigrants can come to Toronto area, Etobicoke, Scarborough, and North York, and work in certain jobs, factories. But from the 80s, 90s, things radically changed, and we call it a friend is saying Brian Mulroney, a friend saying UK. So we had Thatcher, right? We had a friend saying a Thatcher US, and so we had a Reagan. We be Reaganomics. So I don't be a free trade. I say free trade. A friend saying structural adjustment policy. A friend is saying, I just said, and no, I said, government in Ankasano, they wanted to cut back on welfare state, wanted to cut back on so many different things. So they were shipping a lot of the factories in Norman to third world countries, to other countries, to Asia and so forth. That caused a lot of problems, right? Anyway, so let's now transition to the contemporary context. Now with the challenges that's going on now, we have a lot of international students arriving. Recently in the past, let's say 10 years, since Trudeau about office, they've welcomed Justin Trudeau. They've welcomed so many international students, to come in, and it benefited a lot of institutions. Now, institutions, in your kind of academic institutions, are your DLI, which is designated learning institutions. Those are what we call authentic, and they are registered with the government. And there is also what we call a friend is saying diploma mills. The word diploma mills, which is it's essentially fraudulent so-called institutions. I just said a lot of fraudulent individuals have created these fraudulent institutions to lure a lot of international students to come here. Tens of thousands of dollars. Right? So the issue now is, and at the same time, I initially talked about Canada's population. When you imagine having, a country of just 40 to 42 million, and then you are within a span of a year or two, you're welcoming about 1.3 to 1.4 million people, right? There might end up being a serious backlash by those, some of the citizens. And we know, say, irrespective of how diverse a friend is saying, or tolerant, pluralistic the society is, there's still going to be elements that they may not necessarily agree with certain immigration policies, how things are changing, the rapid demographic changes. For instance, the city of Brampton, was saying, right, between just 2020 to 2020 to now, it has grown by 100,000. which is almost, it's the fastest growing urban city in Canada. And I would, I would argue, say, one of the fastest growing in the Western world. Imagine in less than 5 years, in just 5 years, about 100,000. That's what they're even just, I believe, so it's even a conservative number, right? And you have a population of, now I want to say it's around 700 and maybe 90,000 to almost 800,000, but it's probably much more. So you can imagine that puts a lot of pressures on resources. And many of the new, these cities, urban city centers, are expanding, Toronto as well, Vancouver, Montreal. It puts pressures on the resources, as I noted, employment and housing and all these things. So there's a serious backlash. And almost say, and they're blaming the Trudeau government. Said they haven't really planned well. And you can't just allow these people, as you say, so downtown, especially downtown Toronto, you will see so many international students, especially from South Asia, almost bikes, even in winter times, they're delivering. They're delivering, your friend saying, Uber Eats. They are going, and it's something, and these students, they're almost hopeless, like helpless, visa, right? Many are even turning, many international students, they're even turning to Salvation Army, which is more of donations, right? I just said to get regular donated items, perishable items, and so forth. North York Harvest Food Bank, Toronto say. Many places are even beginning to turn away international students because there are these organizations almost say it's not fair to the domestic residents, say citizens or Mukruman, because these organizations are low income. They're meant to assist homeless people who are Canadians, either permanent residents or Canadian citizens, not international students, right? International students, I have clients they've been quite me spend it over $50,000 Canadian, and they get duped for, by these connection people. Some of these connection people cry with Canada, but could be cry. I just said, again, confidential. Even cry what you see can amani pakonevi. Instead of using sasikana nipano students, prospective students or organ or urban to go pay the tuition. No more use discount. No more. And by the time that student nipakono so or a lucky crown to member Kromano, Sika no again say there will be some leftover or whatever. To say in another video, they're left without nothing, right? So it's a very dire situation, and as you heard as well, several international students are being killed in Canadian cities. In the past year alone, about 3 or 4 have died. Many are working in as security guards, if they're even fortunate to get a job at all, right? I strongly urge our leaders in Ghana to really take their time, to really advocate, to really teach, caution a lot of our people when they're coming, because Canada, it will almost say we are, it's a prosperous society, it's a very rich society, but it's not, it's not like that. And to say when you come here, and I want to use a term, intersectional identity, intersectionality, right? For instance, me say, me a question for lawyer. I mean to me family, I say I'm in my late 30s. I'm a lawyer. I have education. Even my height, I'm 6'4". I'm a very tall man. Obi or also, or yeah, and I'm black. Even though I'm black, there are some challenges, But because of my level of experience, even my accent and work, it can give me privilege. It will give me benefit. I just said, Obi or also, or me the same age as me will not experience the same thing. So it's important for me to also acknowledge that. And to say, the entire may bringing that up and I say, oh, Ghana, you're planning to come here to study. One of Jane say, okay, what is my situation? Okay, I'm a 25-year-old young woman. I have, I've been to university, maybe University of Ghana. I have these skills. I maybe have acquired nursing degree. So maybe me person me ba abuche me ba Canada no. Mame empe a career, a job, and I say some person me to me school so let me find a career or a friend saying programmer that is suitable for me and not necessarily the asimesi or somewhere in northern somewhere in Quebec and I say or Toronto. Catch us, choose this program, choose a developmental studies or choose political science when you don't have any background in that. Because Obasana, I mean, 4-year in a international 4 years to a program. Nancy York University, they've decided to shut down about many programs. They say in many institutions in Canada, they are beginning to shut so many things down, programs, because they say in the government, almost cut international students. Your friends saying they're putting a cap on international students visas to come here. So you have to be strategic. You have to plan ahead. So if you're going to borrow 20,000 to come here now, invest instead of say these connection people. Most of them, again, I don't know, but let's say some of them can engage in fraud, right? Why don't you put some of that money and invest in a lawyer or somebody who's regulated? Instead of say you're going to put the musika masika kesie obi, hoping say or trusting in that person say they're going to be able to fulfill what they've told you. Do your own research. What do Hanumans do every year? I mean, try and pursue the program now you thought you plan to come to fulfill. That was the requirement, and the IRCC, Immigration, Refugee, Canada. They are very particular, and as I say now, they are very. I mean, they're trying to investigate so many things and catch all students who are not your friends of fulfilling. You don't want to be one of those. Don't think say we'll do happy. Everything is going to be fine. If you came as an international student as a visitor, let's say even as a visitor, you're not expected to be able to work. You won't have your permit to a work permit to work. You won't have health benefits. So what was the reason for? Because you told the government that you're coming to visit a friend, and now you showed you had to have demonstrated or presented say economically, financially, you can sustain yourself. So now you can't expect the government of Canada to now bail you out, to now begin to assist you financially. It doesn't work like that, and this is where the people run into problems. So again, I mean, I know, DJ, you mentioned, we were talking earlier. Right now, there's about, they say, 2,700 friend is saying Ghanaians international students gone missing, right? 2,700, and that's even conservative number. But let's look at it in a broader scheme of things. Okay, so 2,700. No, Ghanaian students are not the only one. In total, you see over 50,000 international students have gone missing. 50,000 or 20,000 of them are from India. 20,000 international students from India have gone missing. Nigeria for also I imagine 20,000 international students, many of them have been duped. They came here hoping that they will have it's a land of opportunity. They will promise so many things. Now, if you don't any tickets to go back home, and now go back home, so what are they going to tell their families? Say, go school, no, you buy in school, you never be crying, and that. What are you going to do? They're being exploited, and money, they're being exploited. It's a very
okay, Sisiano. So figures our boy, me who me crama Kagana the end 2000 something. I almost say missing. Sisiano. Mo kwa koto aba, right?
Yeah.
In
Ontario, just last week, you to Aba in the province of Ontario, the largest province, which is about 15 million or so. Yeah, to Aba and the conservatives, Doug Ford. Oh, we need a majority. And they say he has a huge mandate. Or they said, I mean, his policies, it aligns with Trump. And to the extent, say, a friend saying they are very wary about the influx of immigrants and so many things, right? Demographic changes, And almost, it's, I quite say, again, they free trade. They're against the welfare state, say, providing government subsidies. They want to cut back on a lot of government subsidies for welfare, for single mothers. They want to cut so many things off, education, and they want to cut things off, right? And you can imagine, say, now in just the largest province of Canada, right, Ontario, say we have a conservative leader. I mean, we've had him for some years now, but now he has a new majority again, which will last for another up to 5 years, right? And a lot of it stems from the discomfort in terms of the backlash against the Trudeau government. They didn't plan well. And I can say the city of Brampton, say, a city in just less than 5 years, over 100,000. How many cities in the Western world, US, Europe, you can say in just less than 5 years, over 100,000 people, it has increased by 15%. It's unheard of.
Into the echo, who said then, Beba, asking Mutuma Bani Unia,
Okay.
USA and also Canada, and him say the same thing, Beba, na asking mass deportation, Yadiana, won't be sir.
Okay, so Canada, unlike US, I mean, immigration is regulated by the federal government, right? But in terms of, say, the way the US president, make it executive orders and very radical and so forth, Canada, for a large degree, we are a little bit more reasonable, put it that way. It doesn't work just like it doesn't work, but the immigration minister has a significant influence. They can do so many things, and they channel a lot of the influence to the first immigration officers, and they use statistics and data to make their policies. They don't just get up one day and say, we're cutting but they know, say, right now, I mean, Trudeau, within the next 2-3 weeks or so, very, very soon, of official or the court, a new leader within the Liberal government. Almost selected. I think they're selecting a new leader, right? But irrespective, within the next few months, we're going to go to we're going to go to a general. We're going to have an election, and it's expected, say, a conservative leadership will come into power. A conservative, Poilievre. Now, Pierre Poilievre, he's a young guy, and at the same time, mind you, or again, the intersectional identity. I want to say he's a white male, grew up in a rural area. Ne perspective, ne belief in terms of diversity and inclusion and so forth. They don't really believe inside, DEI. They don't believe in those things, right? And he will ensure, say, they enforce immigration policy, immigration laws, and try to cut they will likely cut a lot of when it comes to the immigration numbers, they will cut it even more. Trudeau government reduced it by first to 437,000 for 2025. But it was initially was supposed to be about over 500 and something thousand, and on Mama Nabafum to 437. But even then, can imagine, DJ, over 400,000 international students coming into a country, right? Many of them are not even showing up. Now, okay, fine. If you want, DJ, we can transition to attach you on the refugee claim. Once they come here, they want to.
Okay,
okay, almost by 2,000, let's say 2,700 or so now, they are gone, they vanished. And I said the IRCC, they're unable to, they're unaccounted for, and they are being, and government and every show must say, where are they, right? Many of them, I mean, I'll be honest, some of them come to immigration lawyers, also consultants but they come to consult, and then they will say, oh, Lawyer Safo, I've been here, I came as a nurse. And school now me yes me call school no cry no me once me ye adwuma me nya some healthcare work job and I may na me enche me work a friend saying me study permit, not even study permit, but work permit, it will expire. It's going to expire very soon. So I want to be able to claim for something. I always tell them, say, man, as a lawyer, no lawyer is going to say, me could in trauma. I'm not going to lie for you. Whole story, your narrative. I mean, based on lawyers for the we go about, we will defend your best interest. That is our main, that is our duty, to ensure that we protect the interest of our clients. And to say, if you have a well-founded basis, say you are going to be prosecuted if you are returned back to Ghana, then I'll do everything. Me and my team will do everything to ensure that we provide the best application, right? But in answer, no application I'll be making. First of all, I mean, you claim, say you are a member of the LGBTQ. Over Ghana, and where's the evidence? Did you, before so back Chrome say you are coming here to claim refugee, then at least gather some documents. The RSCC, they want to see say a true credibility, and they're going to immigration officers, they do here and now, and it's about credibility. Say even the smallest inconsistent statement, and then it will undermine everything you've claimed. And say, my clients, they be on my catch from, so okay, do you have police reports? Or say you're a lesbian and you had a lesbian partner, and you started maybe early on. It was I started when I finished SHS. We will, as a lawyer, I will then ask you some questions. Okay, so SHS, senior high school now also starts here. Or partner or banner or now do you still have text messages? Say WhatsApp messages, say, oh Anna, I love you, I miss you, and those things. If you have pictures of that, I'm going to need it. Do you also, and I can say, come a man for a final center on your bow, a corona woman, maybe the city, our woman. People, rumors went around, and your friends and people were threatening you, and I see a bull cry, Emma Oko prior, and you local hospital. Okay, fine. Do you have evidence of that? Or medical reports? So I'll say a criminal for a binomo for a vigilante for maybe 5 people, a bull. And you don't call, and I'll call hospital. So no doctors who say, I'm gonna try X-ray, I'm gonna try pictures, and then we're gonna need all of that. So no, those reports, police, medical, and even psychological reports, social workers for Morgana, and more psychotherapists for, all of those are going to be critical. And to Abe Chrome Hanum now, you're making a point of entry. And I say even later on, what claim will say, I want to make a refugee claim because I'm afraid, sister, let me call back to Ghana. I face imminent threat to my life based on my sexual orientation. And at least then I'm going to advise you, say, okay, the IRCC, they also want to show say, or lifestyle, as a member of the LGBTQ, over Toronto, over Brampton, and so called Montreal or Vancouver, did you participate or reach out to the local LGBTQ community, Nana? Say, building a report with them, getting them to even write you a report, say, yes. So I'm more running a marathon, and I say, if they're having some kind of Zoom meeting, the grammar, did you participate? And then they show say, yes. As someone and yet, internet, say, if you're able to establish those now, you have a reasonable chance, a reasonable high chance of your claim being successful. But what Bekrum you think, say, and I be so now, DJ, to be honest with you, I'm gonna make a claim now. Their main thought is, I just want a work permit so that I can work. You will get your work permits, fine. Yeah, your friends say you can claim, say, I'm going to be abused and so on. You get your work permit, that's fine. You get health benefits and all those things. But mind you, it's only temporary. Within a year, within a reasonable time, you're going to go face the hearing board, the IRCC, IRB board. A friend is saying, if you will claim on the exam, on the question, not necessarily interrogation, but they will ask you questions. And if you claim our basis of claim that is not credible, then they're going to they will likely reject your claim. I mean, you can appeal there, but you have to appeal to the federal court. Do you have the money for that? And your friend is saying, you say if you are inadmissible, that would compromise or work permit now on everything that you know, so you would have to go back, right?
I never find I become one and say, me dream I mean, so sometimes my account shows several times say who say who go school or Canada. Na why you document be if they do airport on who say me person me diedro. It sounds some way. But so they do where they draw rim. Sana be brain na do almost diedro. You see, at the point we quite me bizarre say questions for immigration at port of entry now. One no more bizarre and I'll be dear and I'm said you baby not immigration for now because someone who says some bizarre. I see a bit dear. But then I was kind then I original so dear drew a room the mama work permit. But I free say it's awesome.
Well, and I make us say you need to plan.
Court now case no ya farmer wa afi na obesan ko file another one ni nya obefa lawyer so betuatua sika enti ebe ko si saying.
I mean, luckily enough, a Chrome Hands, a provinces, for instance, Ontario Hanamo said Oba for Frost that will make it claim. I mean, as an international student, as anybody who claim say you want refugee claim and you can't afford a lawyer, then the government would your fair legal aid, they will be able to issue you a legal aid certificate to hire a lawyer, right? But I mean, legal aid is different from private law. Lawyer to work yeah, I mean, you'll be able to get a lawyer to fight for you and so forth, right? So I mean, and I'm gonna make us say for a lot of applicants, the immediate concern is getting a work permit. But I'm going say 6 months from now, a year from, even if it takes maybe 2 years because of the backlog, there's so many applicants. There's over 200,000 applicants for a refugee claim. And there's going to be an immigration officer that's going to examine and ask you questions and look at your basis of claim, your BOC. If it's unsuccessful, then what do you do next, right? And they be make it claim now. Sometimes fill a form. You call online and I say na for being a catcher and so my main mouth. The biggest what's chroma for many years, but he does not know the system. He does not know the type of questions, how to go about answering it. Now, what could you and I say, one man apply amount. After the baby baby, almost fairly we and almost sending we are. It's too late because once what your friends say, IRCC, what's sending all that information, so story away. Won't mean say, oh, it's not story, no. And I said I want to edit in a way because there's some information things that are missing, and I want to include. You can't just do that because then make us say inconsistency. They want to ensure that everything you're saying aligns with from the beginning. Want to make us say in 2012 I was here and I encountered a very violent situation, and then tell me say. If anything, it no longer happened in 2012, but it happened in 2018. I mean, DJ, just imagine. And I don't know, and I said what was say family member back on an kasa you're finding also sexual orientation to no one kasa beam. Yet that same family member also now was stated in your work permit. In your student visa application, which was that same family member helped you to come here financially. So how is it possible, say, sir, so mommy and so auntie and also sister be, and say or funny house or yeah gay into no or cattle off cry. And so that same sister now 2024 or and I say 2025 year or backroom or signing the sika eboa. Ayana, you know, now almost ayana been if you say a crewman to say Ghana or third, you know, other countries, third world countries where you can get away with certain things. Any information you submit, if you submitted in 10 years ago, it's the information is there. And if you a IRCC application also, they ask you questions, say, have you ever been rejected before? Or did you apply to any other countries? You may say, oh, me Ghana say, you know, in 2013, I applied for instance, the US diversity program, so diversity a lottery, you know, and you got rejected. And on where you are, why being crazy? So go Canada for Busa, so you're claiming for refugee. Obviously, refugee, they don't care about Satama who applied or Ghana many years ago for the US lottery visa. It shouldn't count. What status, no, I've never applied to any other country. They do refugee here and now, then they'll bring it up. Say, you know, Asimesi, okay, say, when we asked you this question, say, have you ever applied to any other country before? Have you ever been rejected? You stated no, you have not. Yet we pulled up and it says 2013, 2014. You tried even twice for the US lottery visa. Can you explain yourself? Now for I didn't think it was a big, and I mean, didn't say it was a big issue. Okay, so if you don't think that was a big issue, then story I will come. So now, how should we believe you? What I mean, how can we believe anything that you say? I feel that, and yet it's no. So
well,
I
mean, no, see, I mean, no, because I see, no, Mohono, deportation, and just an UK, they no more need the day, but almost deportation, deporting on the low. I'm to say, Mr. T, the away the day. Momo deporting Crawford, but maybe I any antiana.
Okay, DJ, that's a very good question too. Again, fortunately, Canada is not like other Western, especially the US or even the UK, right? Yes, if you are inadmissible, if there's inadmissibility based on, say, maybe what could commit a crime be, the one thing I always advise people, anyone, Ghana 42, do not engage in any criminal activity. So I'll be on a visitor visa and I say on a student visa. Oh no, I mean, again, intersectionality, whole situation is different from when you're called Bishiano or no bit in your catches or Charlie, young call this party near less and talk to see one more. Or so young jump on now foolishness. Once walk come. Nay, ya arrest or no, he's maybe or no or buy no. A fence and he's when you're a citizenship. Oh, nothing now. You haven't even gone any permanent residence crampona. It can still be compromised. So if you, as long as you are thinking twice and you stay away from trouble, there's no reason why the government will just decide that they're going to deport you. On the deportal crampona, it will take a very long time because you can always appeal. And it takes for instance, to the federal government, federal courts, and it will take a reasonable time. So there is not necessarily mass deportation or some kind of like how US and other countries, they can just decide but mind you, we have a conservative government that is likely, as well as the main can say it's going to happen, but most likely will happen, it will be elected in the next few months. No more than a year from, but it will happen very, very soon. Then I'm gonna make us say the immigration minister in Canada. No, he has a tremendous influence. He can decide to cut down so many things, and crack down on and I make us say there's a lot of fraud in terms of a diploma mills. All these international students they're here now. They came on a fraud, thinking they're coming to study in certain institutions, and so normal buy and so school it doesn't exist. On Brampton Hakekeno, it was recently the mayor of Brampton, a friend of Brown, Mr. Brown. Honestly, we can see there's about 80. They've discovered about 80 different organization institutions, so-called diploma mills. And they were recruiting international students, especially from India. Brampton has said, majority of the population out of Americans, almost 800,000, majority are from South Asia, India in particular. So many of them were recruiting international students coming here to come and study, thinking, say, oh, we're spending 20,000, 50,000. Schools are more kakrano. It doesn't even make sense. The names of the student of the schools, it's not listed under the DLI, which is the designated learning institutions. Into Wabekrumano, that's when you learn, say, oh, wait here, your friend say, I've been duped, I've been defrauded. And, I mean, what do you do now? What do you do next? So, and again, to your question, say, is there mass deportation? Canada here. Luckily enough, it's not like that. The government doesn't just decide, say, okay, we're going to send about out of let's say, for instance, so there's about 200,000 or 300,000 undocumented immigrants. We're going to deport all of them. We're going to run many of them up, find them, and then it doesn't work like that. And even say you are detained or you are inadmissible, you can always appeal. And it takes time. This you've been rejected, your appeal has been rejected, and so forth, and you pose a reasonable risk. Then, of course, and then they will send you back. But Canada is not like that. We've been very fortunate. We've been very fortunate.
Bisa about who take on this family criminal issues.
Okay. So, in terms of family law, criminal law, right? Again, I mean, the last time we met, my own experience, right? And it fits perfectly. Family and criminal law. There are, I mean, a krumhanum say, just make sure you are abiding by the law. Don't affiliate yourself with individuals say they can be troublesome. Right? So in the criminal justice system, historically, and I'm saying historically, there's been reasonable documentation, statistics showing, say, Blacks and other racialized minorities are overrepresented in the prison system. Canada, the indigenous people, Aboriginals the natives which is, I mean, it's an old term. We don't use indigenous or red Indians. Those we don't use those. It's seen as offensive. But indigenous people, they are overrepresented, and it's true because of history and our Black Black population, right? I mean, police agencies there's a lot of bias, right? And I say that because a lot of the officers, and I guess it's there's a claim that they're doing many agencies, police, they claim that they're training their officers to be more aware of different demographic groups, especially Blacks, indigenous people, and so forth. But if you have an officer, right? Oh no, Bruni. I mean, he grew up in a very small town. Let's say in a small rural town, right? Or no, grow up he or she has not interacted with Blacks or indigenous people. And an experience, it will be again his intersectional experience, identity. It makes him, it causes him to view other groups in a different way, and he'll be reluctant to associate himself with other groups. Into how he or where he imbibes his information, right? DJ into US channel say it will be your program which is the first 48. Predominantly Blacks for gang violence. Into officer Bruni and I say they be an question argument or say that if one Aboriginal for they are very troublesome. You should be careful not to approach them or talk to them in a reasonable way. And so he has this negative perception. And to imagine wabe krumhan ufigana and one thing I would say is a lot of international Ghanaians. We grew up here, even though I wasn't born here. I came at a relatively young age, so my experience and so forth, it's Canadian to a large degree, right? And Ghana, because of the education system, and I sorry to say, the colonial education system in Ghana, which I quite say Ghana for more. Again, I don't want to stay any country, but a lot of Ghanaians or more Ghana, they almost dream say Abroche is heaven. Brony, they love anything that has to do with Brony. To be honest, I mean, and I'm even Madame for more fee Ghana buy, almost buy a Brony background person try out. Well, and so they have this a fascination with whiteness.
Young penny for who baby say, if you are seeing her, will be the map, will be check. Why not HO? So we'll pay IT, who they 1 year, so we'll pay support. Slam Technology say your #1 partner. Your office will US in here, your office will Ghana, so your numbers need go. So we'll share IT classes, we'll hear career coaching, we'll hear support for business, cybersecurity, fraying, na your partner. Yaba wow. Slam Technologies, transformation with excellence. Phrases, ya baby
Right, but they don't know the experiences that level. We went to elementary school here, we went to high school, college, and how the school system, the education system, guidance counselors for the way that they treated young. College, university cramp, say no, you should try college, and as you should try a skilled work, you should try something instead of pursuing higher. They'll try to limit you in so many ways. And he said, oh no, back home, you don't know the now obviously everything is smooth and then you realize, and that's how you end up getting yourself into a lot of problems, right? And in terms of criminal, when it comes to a crime, it needs a lot of education, and white interaction with Black community is unfortunately it's easy for them to arrest someone like I mean, so will be dakini be non person approach your car. I have many clients. I have clients, criminal law clients. I'll say, lawyer Safo, I did nothing wrong. I was just in my car waiting, and this officer just approached me, or approaching me, or say, a friend saying he wants to, or me question, demeaning me, asking me questions just to try to get me to a friend and react. Also, react to pet. Yes, say you've assaulted or you've done something to an officer. Call a trial. You don't call to charging also now. A judge, again, I have to be careful what I say, but judge, for the most part, or your brony, or brony, for the majority, and I'm almost on many of the judges are or likely a white male or white female in their 60s, sometimes 70s crowd. Almost like I said, intersectional identity, on an experience, the people that or grow up with, they are not like they're not like you and I. And to think about it, you have to be white solidarity. And a lot of times, and that's the stats, it demonstrates, it shows it. Say a lot of white clients, a lot of white defendants, or I say, they are more likely to get just a slap on the wrist compared to what that can only be have the same, or you can commit the same crime, and so they do quarter. You're likely to face severe penalty. So you have to be extremely careful. Men found whom to be don't say what be crew mind, menyo brony intimate no yepe mifigana into your quack we say samba or no brony they don't. Me say I have a client anyway. I know people, I know a situation here. Brony back on and dakini back yet you drug trafficking cocaine. Brony no or no dakini or more car money at you, no more trafficking cocaine. Or no dakini you didn't to prison or no brony boy and brony your man koye your man fear and your cast one bra back. Anyway, long story short, you really see you just some man, say your friend saying, but or no dakini not some. So then, so a crime idea, you have to be very careful. mbrofono at the end of the day, no, they have the power, right? That doesn't mean you limit yourself. We're all equal. Man, you have to be proud of yourself. But at the same time, be extremely careful and cautious who you surround yourself with. And at the same time, when it comes to family law, and so again, for instance, in international students, already my menko peg a boni na menko ware na say menko sorry menko nyim no basa na obetimi aboame. Okay, fine. It could be say when you're on krata and I say yes worry or konyam na so no I start a relationship na and just say yeah, it doesn't work like that. And I say what only will be government, they will stop prevent you from being deported. It doesn't work like that in Canada. So any part of best sponsor and so that's the process. But mind you, say only will be ever starting relationship. One of the biggest reasons why many men or many people in North America, especially Canada and the US, they are unable to progress financially, economically, is because of child support. And the worst part, and I say you can register or a Ontario your friend of family responsibility office. And also, it's based on a child support, it's based on guidelines, based on your income. Say what be I mean, you are a things are difficult, normal difficult for you. What could you maybe say? Who you are being cramped when you're if you don't say, oh, your ban a child support, mean could you have a crab you. So when you're the government, they don't care. They will be as a family lawyer myself, I would impute your income to minimum wage. And so what say, okay, what's a one maybe a fairness and me a barber. It doesn't maybe you can't really know exactly how much I work. Fine. So my clients about me will say, oh, lawyer Safo, or Berman say a friend saying, or Mekisika or Nisika, Buame. I say, okay, fine. I'm going to impute his income to minimum wage. Minimum wage is about the Ontario, I think about $16. So I said $15.90 or something. It goes up, so it could be $16. That amount, in a year time, in a year, and it's about maybe 32,000 or so. So I'll go to the judge and say, Your Honor, or Bema way say, even those 1 year jumano, me person me imputing the income to 32,000. And if for Uncle but me and so on or ban way, he should be paying at least maybe $600 and $700 a month. You have to pay. Now, yeah, Juma Usika on your crown, it could be say maybe 1,200 B, and I say 2,000 B a month. 2,000, who make it 2,005 and as crampo a chrome hand as DJ, rent 1 bedroom and then I'm about 1,500 and say 2,000. If you saw a single room be around maybe $800 if you're lucky. Now $800 single bedroom and I would hear for instance $600-700 child support. What you know on top of that, you also have to worry about transportation, baby, so many things. How do you survive? So okay, Jumana say maybe why lucky, a engineer, or a doctor, or and found where you the more money you make, into say who make 100,000 or bano or bet say in Colombian who bet you about $2,000 easily a month. And say and I will be baby so your cap will be. Yes, say high income, that's will make you over 150,000. Who make you over $150,000, sir? And no, judge, will have a discretion. Say, you know what? Instead of going by the guidelines, says we'll make you 150,000. I will make you tier way. We'll even stop all of that. And to say we'll make you about let's say 160,000. The judge can say to you $5,000 a month, $4,000 a month, based on so many. And they don't. So again, I really want to caution people. Don't think say Kruman or Wabano. It's bed full of roses. Just say you can just, it doesn't work like that. You have to be extremely cautious. Child support is causing a lot of problems for a lot of men. It will undermine your potential in so many ways. And now yes, won't you crampo your cat you are mandate to say she has this amount. Also won't you? You better spend it. or license, or driver's license, or passport. Minimum be crampa. Or krum hanom, and now yes, a no on or ban or more or ban sword and no child support. And also, okay, if I also own child support, I mean, me call Ghana. I don't call Ghana. About many years later, about 15, 20 years later, and or back. Onin say, Tama or call Ghana, or then such as a BBI, okay. Odu Hanomwana, your fence, any pacono, the passport. Yes, easy. They say won't mean travel crime baby again. Or do airport the moment I'll ravel back. It is always why I say, oh, Kogana, oh, no, wako bob, wako bob, and yet stay there because of the crew and one. You would not be, and you would have to pay that money. If it be arrears, retroactive child support. And you know, for instance, let's say na Okroma, na Winyajuma, let's say even the conservative number and Akola Bako, and you say you should pay about maybe $250 or $300 a month. We will calculate it for a year into 250 times 12. Now imagine 250,000 times 12, and then times that by maybe 15 years. Now almost the interest at also. And will be more almost about $50,000. A go hokram or ye juma DJ. This is the most day, and I make say only or buy or honomo. More worry. Many people more worry. More tonight. Mujayeno. For 2 years, Monkasa, I mean, Ose Udisika Emma Obano, or I mean, whatever, Udiskama in Colano. Obano Duapo, a friend saying child support. Child support, they're going to now calculate, say 2023, and I say let's say 2022, and Amujaya. So they will calculate, say, from 2022 to 2025. We're now in March. This is how much in arrears or there. Because now unti oju say oh meja many obaneja into no nkwala ne de omo ba me ho me hwe omo me ma omo ba oban de me first say scan ma no yako oban hire me and also hire lawyer family lawyer near court make us yona since 2022 obema ne obaneja ya no obema no first sika say $600 or the ma oban into now I'm calculating say $600 600 times what times 12 and at 3 years later, so or they car about 8, let's say just a hypothetical, or they car, let's say even $5,000. 5,000. So I won't mean to access it can now register my fro and I make us family responsibility office. So when to mean to access it can within 2 months, the moment that organizations are thrown on the almost the can or make about time within inform what the director and inform how long, but on the amount time say within 2 months, within a month or two. When to mean to your pet, where on the Becoz CRA, on the CRA man, yes, say, where you government or income tax, it will be frozen, it will be given, everything will be frozen, and they will be given to a ban. Until the amount, you bet if you and they're adding interest to it. Every month there is interest. So they go up by 5,000. The other makers is just conservative. Average is around 10,000. Will be quite they cut $80,000 because when you child support for 7-8 years. Oh, but that been
before major or crown, you share yeah first hooks first way now you discuss about. Oma betina oma nko school no oma overstay then as see me I make kasa na maka cho mo say enye fear and panic but say we look sharp start say we look sharp and sana system na catch you up inti omo say then so me yes me ba school okay me the students they be room manko school
okay
DJ see anyama then say me
okay
quick one say I sign out
and no, I mean, already, almost say one school. So already it's misrepresentation. Again, it's misrepresentation. You came and you did not fulfill what you intended to do. So the IRCC, government would expect some form of explanation. Don't think say, oh no, CC abino, and I say, oh, me work permit and me did by school. and then I'm used to work. You know, and almost say you're gonna have to renew it, or it's gonna expire eventually. It could even say work permit requires 3 years, 4 years. That is nothing. What do you plan to do? Do or man being so I'm going to say, oh, my big dear, or maybe be family now or worry me. What are the chances of that? Right? And you know, I believe say we'll buy as an international student and one continue now, one to the first thing I would advise, or I would actually encourage, and I say try and enroll back or try and do a different program to show say you are still interested in pursuing your academic goals, and that it wasn't because of other so if it's refugee, again, if it's as a do you really have the in terms of your basis of claim, no? Is it credible? Or the evidence? And I'm as we talked about, before so collective, you planned ahead in terms of you have the pictures, you have the police report, the medical report, start to validate or to authenticate, say yes, same way to me. And I say I am passing me LGBTQ and stuff. And as a visitor, as a student, to say one school now. At least if you claim for refugee status, then you have a reasonable high chance of success. So you see now, there are different immigration streams. DJ, we have the express entry, for instance. It's based, again, it's a point system. It's a point system where you have the federal skilled workers program and others. We also even have the provincial nominee program. And again, say utimi or high education, you have or certain skills, health work, nurse, I mean, even if you're for instance, a plumber, for specialized skills, you can try, and as long as you full time, you can get full time at least for 1 year. You can qualify for other things, permanent residencies. As we speak right now, there's a new program there, a pilot program, regional economic development through immigration ready. And this is a new program that was introduced by the province of Ontario. And it looks to recruit skilled workers for, right, to fill rural areas, about 4 different towns or so, right? We have Lanark, we have Grenville, we have several, from it began the pilot program here from January of this year, started January of this year, 2025, and it's going to end December 31st, 2025. And what they're looking for, and say Utimi, there's several towns, right? So Utimi apply in your jobs, for instance, in Lanark. And I said next Utimi hayao as a nurse for at least 1 year. That can allow you a path for permanent residency, right? So they're looking for each town, each of the cities. They are allocated about 200 spots. So for a total of 800 for the 4 different communities. If you can apply to any of those communities and you get accepted for, say, a nurse, a PSW, say, a plumber, and I say any, and it can be a pathway, but again, it's very limited. There's 200 spots for each of the towns and so forth, right? So, DJ, it's a question. It's a very good question, but it's one that it's dependent on the individual. So what I mean, for instance, you came as a visitor. As a visitor now, first of all, you don't have work permit. You won't get a work permit. So your situation is different from Mobia. He or she came as an international student who was given a work permit to work to temporarily work. So Obia, and again, the intersectional, Obia experience will be quite different. And I can't say or inform you, so take this path. when your challenges are much different from Asimesi way. So but I would highly advise do the research, go online, find, or say book an appointment. Ghana for Wangasano. I know I watched one of your recent video with one of the immigration lawyers in the US. And the issue that many lawyers will tell you, especially young Ghana for lawyers, it's hard to help your own people because they want everything for free. Consultation. They expect, free. They expect free. Even consultant for common call law school, they are charging $300, $400. Now imagine a lawyer, right? Lawyer said, I know some lawyers that for 30 minutes, they're charging about $500, $600 just for immigration information. So, me as a Ghanaian lawyer, you expect me say, advice I'm the man, as legal information, I should spend my time and take my time off for 1 hour, or 30, and just give you free aid. It doesn't. I may call law school. It's over 100 and something thousand, right? So we also have obligations, but at least invest the information you get from a legal professional can be something that would profoundly change your life. Or these fraudulent individuals, and no crime that causes you to end up in this current situation, as I say, now, instead of taking a small little money, say 400, 500, to give to a lawyer to at least look at your situation, speak with you directly, and tell you, say, I think, say, this is what you should do next. Say, if it means maybe moving from maybe a Kitchener, let's say, so called somewhere in Newfoundland, to get a job, to get a new pilot program, then at least you do it, because at the end of the day, say, in the long term, you will benefit tremendously. By microphone, Obia free. What charging a crown or Swiss, or say,
lawyer, was this up with us? Say, now, SVTV Africa, so me that's pass or buy a second time. Umaya Metanaba, me that's it. Before me, I know social media handles be an we be reach you out, so me that's
your DJ. Again, once again, Yamin Shao, and thank you. And also, I want to thank your subscribers and viewers. If you want to reach if you want to reach Safo Law, you can go to www.safolaw.ca, SARFO.ca, and also person reach me as well. The phone number is 647-774-8020. That's 647-774-8020. And we'll be more than willing to assist you in whatever we deal with: immigration, family law, and criminal law. We also have notary services. And I hope, and it's important. It's very, very important to keep informed. Don't make radical decisions. So, situation is difficult. Seek the legal information from actual regular experts, lawyers. Okay. So, thank you again, DJ Yamin Sharp.
Thank you, lawyer, for putting straight from Air Canada on daily, also worldwide. You on the internet, madam, I some share. I see idea waha. I see idea waha. And if you're in panic, me catch you say adequate preparation is way better than your destination. You to prepare ahead that, and then the minute no. Information is very important. The baby information is very important. You say me nimo. Yes, yes. Anyway, Madam Production Team, subscribe to your channel and share a video for more.
Living in Ghana, abroad, a first-timer visiting Ghana, or a company wondering where to get quality service providers in Ghana for any job? Then Ejumapa On Demand Services is here to assist you. Ejumapa On Demand Services connect requesters and service providers such as masons, plumbers, electricians, auto repairers, home and office cleaners, trash collectors, rent agents, spa attendants, roofers, beauticians, teachers, CCTV installers, and all artisans on one platform. Yes, one platform. Trust Ejumapa On Demand Services to sort you out any day, anywhere, and at any time. To download the app, please visit the App Store and Play Store or visit our website www.ejumapa.com.
Hi there, my name is Calibos, the only boss with one S. Happy new month to all of you. Welcome to a month of new possibilities. Oh, do you know why life has been made so easy? It's because of Tap Send. People, Tap Send is here to make your life easy if you want to transfer money to Ghana. If you want to transfer from USA, if you want to transfer from UK, Europe, Canada, a lot of places all to Ghana. And guess what? When it comes to Ghana, there's no e-levy charge. So, what are you waiting for? Download Tap Send on Google Play Store and App Store and be ready for exciting offers coming your way each time, every time on Tap Send.
Tap Send. Send more, spend less.
This Airbnb in Dansoman Estates, Accra, is only $40 a day and offers all the amenities for a comfortable stay. It is also conveniently located 30 minutes away from the airport. We also have 1 and 2 bedroom apartments for long-term rental at Ingleshi, Amamprum, 15 minutes to the Wedi Toll Booth and the West Hills Mall going for 1,500 and 1,000 Ghana cedis only. Call Parry Group on 053-866-3532, 053-866-3532. This is Parry Group of Companies.